time to get started. Okay, we're all set, Kristen.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kristen Proud, Vice Chair of New York Creates, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting and thank you for joining this afternoon. We'll start with a roll call of the directors who are participating in today's meeting. Michael Abbott.
Present.
Heather Hage.
Present.
Dr. Mengling Shao.
Present.
And Joan McDonald.
Present.
Thank you. I'd also like to recognize the advisory representatives, designees. We have Ian Rosenblum, who is the designee of the Chancellor of the State University of New York. And we're also joined by Dr. Andrew Russell, who is the designee of the SUNY Poly Foundation. In addition, we have the member representative from the Research Foundation of the State University of New York. That's Ryan Farrell. And I'd also like to recognize the officers who are participating in the meeting this afternoon, including David Anderson, Patricia Arciero Craig, Paul Kelly, Scott Bateman, Timothy Taylor, and Patricia Buckland. At this point, I'd like to ask everyone to mute your audio if you are not speaking to minimize any background noise. And also, if you would please identify yourself when you are speaking and if you are making a motion. For purposes of the vote today, I will call out each director's name for their vote so we can accurately record it. At this time, I'd ask if anyone has a conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest with respect to the items on today's agenda. And if so, if you would please make an appropriate designation and disclosure on the record at this time, and then recuse yourself from any discussion or vote with regard to the item when we come to it on the agenda. Doesn't sound like anyone has a potential conflict. So we'll move to the first item on the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of the New York Creates board meeting that was held on October 19, 2023, please?
I'll move it, Heather.
Thank you, Heather. A second.
Mike, I second it.
Thank you, Mike. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay, hearing none, we'll go right to the vote, starting with Mike Abbott.
Aye.
Heather Hage.
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Chao.
Aye.
And Joan McDonald.
Aye.
And I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative, so the ayes have it and the motion is adopted. I'd like now to introduce Mike Abbott, who chairs the Audit Committee, to provide us with the committee's report.
Thank you, Chair. We have before you three resolutions approving the 22-23 annual audit of New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC. I'd like to ask for a motion to consider and adopt the New York Creates Resolution Number 24, FRMC Resolution Number 191, and FSMC Resolution Number 209, approving the 2023 annual audit.
So moved by Mengling Shao.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chris. I'll second.
Thank you. By way of background, the bylaws of New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC each provide that a financial statements of the corporation shall be audited annually by a certified public accounting firm approved by the board of directors. The board authorized the corporations to engage KPMG to conduct the annual audit for the year ending June 30th, 2023, and KPMG has now completed the audit. The audit has been prepared as a New York Creates single consolidated audit with accompanying schedules for FRMC and FSMC, as it has been done in the past years. The Audit Committee adopted resolutions for New York Creates, FRMC, and FSMC. One, approving the 2023 annual audit, subject to and conditional upon completion of the remaining administrative items discussed with the Audit Committee by management and the certified public accounting firm, to the satisfaction of the chair of the Audit Committee. Two, providing the general authorizations to the officers as stated in the memorandum provided to the committee in advance of the meeting. And three, recommending that the board approve the same action. So the requested action today is to approve New York Creates Resolution Number 24, FRMC Resolution Number 191, and FSMC Resolution Number 209. Is there any discussion of these items? Okay, hearing none, I will ask each director for their vote on the motion. Heather?
Aye.
Dr. Mengling?
Aye.
Joan?
Aye.
Kristen? Thank you. And I also vote in the affirmative. The ayes have it and the motion is adopted. I'd like to just take a moment to thank Marty Dunbar from KPMG. Marty's been working on our audit for a number of years. In accordance with KPMG's policy, this is his final year. So thank you, Marty, for the services and sound advice you provided to us over the years. Next year, we'll have a new managing partner from KPMG to oversee the audit, Jeff Koch, and we look forward to working with him. I'd also like to thank the New York Creates team for assisting and facilitating the completion of the audit. Chair, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would echo, your acknowledgement and thanks to Marty and the team there for their work to get all of this done. So thank you. And Marty, we will miss your work on this. I'll start with a lease amendment with IBM as part of our Finance Committee report. I'd ask for a motion to consider and adopt the lease amendment with IBM.
So moved. This is Joan.
Thanks, Joan. A second, please.
Second by Mengling Xiao.
Thank you. So IBM currently leases 70,615.5 square feet of office and lab space in NanoFab East and NanoFab South for a term expiring on December 31 of 2023. The parties seek to extend the termination date for the space covered under this lease to December 31, 2024, and also to add approximately 866 square feet of lab space in NFE East to this lease. As part of, the commencement date of January 2024, the rent will be $45.32 per square foot for 65,550.5 square feet of office space and $94.53 per square foot for 5,931 square feet of lab space. These rent prices do include operating expenses as well as utilities. The Finance Committee approved the resolution described in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of this meeting and made a recommendation that the board approve the same actions. So the requested action is approve a resolution approving and authorizing the corporation to enter into a lease amendment with IBM as requested in the memorandum provided to you prior to this meeting. Are there any questions or comments at this time? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote, beginning with Mike Abbott.
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Xiao,
Aye.
Joan McDonald.
Aye.
Great, thank you. The ayes have it, and this motion is adopted. The next item on the Finance Committee agenda is the report from the Finance Committee is a lease amendment with Lux Semiconductors, Inc. I'd ask now for a motion to consider and adopt a lease amendment with Lux.
Moved, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. A second.
So moved, Joan.
Thank you, Joan. So by way of background, Lux currently leases approximately 521 square feet of space in CSTEM. The lease term expired on February 8th of this year, and Lux exercised the first of two renewal term options under the lease to extend the term to February 8, 2024. The company now seeks to amend the lease to extend the term for an additional 24-month period that would commence on February 9, 2024, with an option to renew for one additional 12-month period. There will be 2% annual increases in the total base rent, with the first such increase commencing as of the February 9, 2024 through February 8, 2025 lease period. The Finance Committee considered and approved the resolution described in the memorandum provided to you in advance of this meeting and recommended that the board approve these same actions. So at this time, the requested action is to approve a resolution approving and authorizing the corporation to enter into a lease amendment with Lux as requested in the memorandum provided to you per meeting. Are there any questions or comments on the resolution? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. Mike Abbott,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Mengling Xiao,
Aye.
Joan McDonald,
Aye.
and I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. So it is approved and the motion is adopted. The next item on the Finance Committee report is a lease with Magnolia Optical Technologies, Inc. I would ask for a motion to consider and adopt a lease with Magnolia.
So moved by Meng Xiao.
Thank you. A second, please.
Mike, I second it.
Thanks, Mike. Magnolia seeks to lease approximately 181 square feet of office space in Seastem for a term commencing on the date of the last execution of the lease and terminating on October 31, 2024. The tenant will have the option to extend the lease for one additional 12-month period. They will pay a total initial annual base rent of $7,200, which is based on a rate of $39.78 per square foot through October 31, 2024, and an annualized amount of $7,416 if the tenant elects to renew for the additional term. The rent includes utilities and operating expenses. The Finance Committee considered and approved the resolution described in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of this meeting and recommends the board approve these same actions. So the requested action is to approve a resolution approving and authorizing the corporation to enter into a lease with Magnolia as requested in the memorandum provided to you prior to this meeting. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. Mike Abbott? Mike?
Aye. One more time, sorry.
Heather Hage?
Aye.
Dr. Meng Xiao?
Aye.
Joan McDonald?
Aye.
And I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. So the motion is adopted. The next item on the agenda from the Finance Committee report is a lease with Exalent Inc., Pixels ATE Inc., and Sensory Biotech Inc. At this time, I would ask for a motion to consider and adopt a lease with these companies.
This is Joan. So moved.
Thank you, Joan. A second, please.
I'll second, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. So these tenants seek to lease approximately 121 square feet of office space and 421 square feet of lab space in Seastem for a term commencing on January 1, 2024 and ending on December 31, 2026. The tenants have an option to renew for two additional 12-month periods. The rent is $25 per square foot for the office space and $27 per square foot for the lab space for the first year of the lease. For the second and third lease years, there will be a 3% annual increase in the total base rent. If the tenants exercise their option to extend the lease, the rent will be in the annualized amount of $15,726.50 and $16,198.30 respectively for the first and second years of the renewal term. The rent does include both utilities and operating expenses. The Finance Committee approved the resolution described in the memorandum provided to the board in advance of this meeting and recommends that the board approve these same actions. So at this time, the requested action is to approve a resolution approving and authorizing the corporation to enter into a lease with Exalent Inc., Pixels ATE Inc., and Sensory Biotech Inc. as requested in the memorandum that was provided to you in advance of this meeting. Are there any questions or comments on this lease? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the vote. Mike Abbott,
Aye.
Heather Hage,
Aye.
Dr. Meng Xiao,
Aye.
Joan McDonald,
Aye.
and I would also like to be recorded in the affirmative. So the ayes have it, and this motion is adopted. That concludes the report from the Finance Committee. At this time, I'll turn to you and see if there's any new business to be considered. Hearing no new business, we'll move to the public comment period. We would like to provide an opportunity for public comment. If there is a member of the public who wishes to comment, I would ask that they please introduce themselves and keep the comments to 2 minutes or less.
Hi, Kristen. This is Ryan Farrell from the Research Foundation. I just wanted to make some remarks about the announcement this week, and just on behalf of the Research Foundation, we were certainly excited to see the governor's announcement on Monday related to the $10 billion of investment coming to the Albany site and creating this sort of first publicly owned high NA EUV center in North America. And our new Research Foundation president, Ram, was fortunate enough to be able to attend in person to hear that announcement this week and to really appreciate the potential benefit these facilities and partnerships could have on expanding SUNY's research footprint. So just wanted to convey, our commitment and that we look forward to working with everyone at New York Creates and across the SUNY system to help realize the goals and the collaborative vision related to the academic research partnerships that are going to happen, the experiential learning, the workforce development, the training and internships expressed by the governor as part of this investment. And hopefully this is just another catalyst to secure that federal funding for an NSTC right here in Albany. So a lot of exciting work, and just wanted to let everybody know that the Research Foundation is committed to making it successful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Kristen,
Anyone?
Kristen, you're breaking up a little bit.
Next is the schedule for next week that is yet to be determined, and once finalized, that will be posted on the website. For any further business? Okay, since there is no further business, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
This is Joan, so moved.
Thank you, Joan. A second.
This is Mike. I second it.
And all in favor? Aye.
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 Thanks. Thank you for and also I wish you a very happy and happy year.
Same
Thanks,
to you,
everyone.
Kristen. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Happy holidays. Thank you.